to the afternoon program. If the presenters could go to the room where they're presenting and upload their talks if they haven't done so already, that would be really helpful. In the room to our right, there's going to be 3 presentations.
Good job, Chief.
Megan Van Buskirk, Water Education Programmer for the Saskatchewan Environmental Society, the Boreal Watershed Monitoring Project, a unique educational program that connects empirical Indigenous knowledge, followed by Myron Naptung, Councillor Yellowquill First Nation, and Laurie Bradford on whiteboard animation for sharing knowledge, and then Mylan Tutusas, Councillor Poundmaker Creation, proactive strategies, lesson learned from the Husky oil spill. So that'll all be in the room to your left. Oh, sorry, that's in here. My mistake. That's in here. And then stream 1, we'll have Peter Davey, editor of Environmental Science and Engineer magazine, spreading success, opportunities for sharing water stories. Tim Bonish, Regional Director of Health Canada, moving towards safe drinking water in collaboration with First Nations. And Tim Molnar, Assistant Professor, College of Education at the University of Saskatchewan, and Nicole Hancock, Executive Director of Safe Drinking Water Foundation. Presentation on education for students and communities, Safe Drinking Water Foundation, and Safe Drinking Water Team. So that'll be in the room next door. So if you could find your way over, if speakers can please upload their talks, and I will see you again this afternoon.
Hi everyone. First off, I'd like to just say I'm grateful to be given the time and space to speak this afternoon. I respectfully acknowledge the trees and land that we are occupying today. My name is Megan Van Buskirk, and I am a water education programmer at the Saskatchewan Environmental Society. Today I'm here to tell you all about one of our exciting education programs that I've been involved with since its birth in 2012, and this program is called the Boreal Watershed Monitoring Project. So in this photo, a small group of students hover around the table at Churchill Community High School in Lorange, heads almost touching as they lean over the fish they are dissecting. They are extracting a small tissue sample to be sent to the U of S for mercury testing. This is one of the activities that is offered to students who participate in our program. On other workshop days, students might be wading in the shallows of the rivers and lakes near their schools, looking at macroinvertebrates and trying to determine if the waters in the community are healthy or not. They also sample and test the water for pH, alkalinity, nitrates, and other elements, and take monthly samples to send away for testing at the Saskatchewan Research Council. Elders, teachers, and researchers guide and encourage the students' inquiries in the workshops, each bringing an area of expertise and life experience that contributes to the whole picture. The concept from the Great Sandhills in the southwest to our pristine northern boreal forest lakes, Saskatchewan's landscape is comprised of many unique and irreplaceable features. These features must be protected for the enjoyment of future generations." End quote. The research goals that emerged from this directive included assessing the current state of the region's environment, measuring changes, and evaluating ecosystem health in the areas of water, air, and soil quality in response to multiple stressors. Contracted by the Saskatchewan Ministry of the Environment, starting in 2012, the Saskatchewan Environmental Society developed and has been providing a school-based educational program help students learn about watersheds and the role they play in maintaining healthy ecosystems. So a little bit of background. Students from the communities of Beauval, Buffalo Narrows, Isle of Cross, La Loche, L'Orange, and Prince Albert take part in workshops at their school or nearby at a lake or river in their community. The workshops generally take place over the span of a day, and the activities are aligned with the curriculum. And they also have to do with the seasons that we're there. The workshops are hands-on, inquiry-based, and an overarching goal of the program is to help students question and begin to find answers to some very simple questions related to the health of their local watershed. Can we drink the water on our canoe trip? Are the fish my family catches healthy for us to eat? How about the water that comes from the fountain at school? So the goal of the program is threefold: to involve students in learning about the health of their local watershed, to encourage them to care about it and learn to protect it, and to further scientific education in northern schools and encourage post-secondary attendance. So to achieve this, the program introduces students to a number of ways of viewing their watershed and understanding it as a system. Recognizing that Indigenous knowledge and empirical science are both valid ways of asking questions and providing places to look for answers. Creating opportunities to talk about and generate an understanding of the health of their watershed and overall system health. Giving students the opportunity to learn scientific methods of determining watershed health, including industrial, climate, and biological considerations, so they will have a better understanding of what might affect their local system. Taking students outside to places where they can see how pieces of the system fit together. Teaching students to take accurate and regular samples of tap and lake or river water that is tested in a sophisticated laboratory for metals and general chemical analysis, and to learn how to analyze that data. Providing students with authentic results from their work, an understanding of what those results mean, and how the results could guide further inquiry. And finally, developing partnerships that allow us to respond to the curiosity of students, teachers, elders, and researchers. So as I mentioned previously, the Ministry of Environment contacted us to deliver this program. From 2012 to 2016, the Ministry funded this program. At present, our funding status is at a standstill, but that being said, along with the Ministry and the SES, the Saskatchewan Environmental Society, key working partners are the University of Saskatchewan, teachers and environmental experts, and elders from each community. The role of the U of S has been flexible and serendipitous, involving professors, researchers, and PhD students from the University's School of Environment and Sustainability. The value of having knowledgeable people in the classroom was apparent from the very first workshop. Students were respectful and curious and keen to work on activities side by side with elders and researchers. And by bringing experts into the classroom and researchers into the community, this program hopes to promote and model a respectful partnership. The elders, many of whom are fishers and trappers, speak with knowledge and experience about the area and how we fit into the system alongside other species, while the researchers work to present complex information to students in areas of biology, toxicology, climate science, in understandable and engaging ways. One of the most valuable aspects of the program is the inclusion of elders, or knowledge keepers, from each of the northern communities. Teachers are asked for assistance in identifying someone in the community who has expertise in fishing, trapping, medicinal plants, or some other expertise. The elders are invited to each workshop, and a small honorarium is provided to them. And each is invited to speak about their experiences with water, their watershed, any changes they've seen over their lifetime as they've lived and worked in the area. And often these comments are made in Cree or Dene. The knowledge and contributions of the elders are significant and help to create an intergenerational atmosphere in the classroom that is respectful, relaxed, and informative. And I believe that without weaving together scientific and traditional knowledge, an important understanding of the watershed as an interconnected system would be lost. Using inquiry into water, plants, and animals in their communities, students look beyond the pages of their textbooks and bring their education and traditional lifestyles together. The participation of elders and other knowledge keepers inspires students to look at how water impacts their lives and ultimately helps them protect one of our most precious resources, water. So the program has evolved into offering 3 main workshops each year, in fall, winter, and late spring. In each, students learn about and do water or snow sampling and testing, chart their results, elders contribute Indigenous knowledge and connections, researchers share their expertise on the day's focus area, and discussion is encouraged around understanding how all the pieces fit together, what students wonder about, and what further inquiries we need to make. So here's a summary of some of the activities that take place in each workshop. So in the fall, we often focus on a macroinvertebrate study, which is a lakeside study and identification of aquatic insects using the leaf pack kit. And I just want to note too that I have all of the stuff that we used during our workshop set up at a table outside. So please help yourself, take a look, see what kind of neat things we're using with the students. We also do a tap in lake or river water sampling and testing using a Lamont kit. So this gives students an opportunity to learn how to test for things like pH, alkalinity, nutrients, dissolved oxygen, and then figuring out how that all fits together. And it also helps us teach them a little bit about the scientific method and remind them about laboratory safety. We've also done a heterotrophic plate count of bacteria using filtered and raw lake water or river water using the Safe Drinking Water Foundation's water pollution kit, or agar petri dishes that were prepared for us by the College of Agriculture and Bioresources. And we've also done a medicinal plant collection for SRC sampling, Saskatchewan Research Council sampling, where we collected primarily rat root and cattail. And that's what you can see in the second photo there. We were canoeing out and collecting rat root with the students. In the winter, we often do a winter hike or a snowshoe in an area that's near a lake or river, with multiple stops along the way to talk about snow ecology. We also do a snow layer cross-section to encourage discussion about winter survival, pollution and runoff, seasonal fluctuation. And this is shown in the second photo, where we cut through the snowpack and observe the differences in the layers. We also do a collection and analysis of snow depth properties to illustrate the correlation between volume and density in snow and melted snow, so water. And we take samples from each of those layers and create hypotheses that show what we think the differences will be in terms of volume and density. And then of course we do water sampling with those Lamont test kits that you can see outside the room. And we strive to do that water testing each time just because it's a really engaging activity for the students and it just helps them practice each time. In the spring, we often do a fish dissection. And this has been a really exciting project where the students extract a small tissue sample for mercury testing. And this is done at the U of S in the Toxicology Center. And this is just one way that students have helped to develop a citizen science portfolio within this program. And I'll show you just a little bit more about that later. We also use that as an opportunity to discuss bioaccumulation and biomagnification in food webs. We again will do a macroinvertebrate study. Things are different in fall and spring in terms of the lifespans of the aquatic insects. Do tap and lake or river water sampling. And in the second photo, we also do stream flow assessment, which calculates average stream discharge. And this activity was provided to us by students of the School of Environment and Sustainability. We also do a variety of additional activities with the students depending maybe if we have a longer period of time with them or based on the weather, we can't spend as much time outside or something like that. We always have more in our back pockets. So we'll do a pH testing of various substances, including melted snow from a variety of areas, both urban and rural. We've also done a pre-prepared macroinvertebrate petri dish pond samples, which one of our PhD students has put together for us. And basically how that works is students will identify and count the proportion of different types of aquatic insects in their petri dish and use a mathematical equation called the EPT index to basically determine water quality. So they can say, oh, this pond is healthy, this one maybe not so much based on the bioindicators of these aquatic insects. We've also created paper watersheds using local maps and local features, as you can see in the second photo. And then we get the students to spray that with like a spray bottle, and it kind of just helps them see where the marker runs to. And so just having a conversation about runoff and pollution and that sort of thing. We also will draw a mind map in the first photo there to obtain a systems understanding of the importance of water. And we've done a duckweed assignment where we just figure out, if we add things to duckweed samples, will they thrive, will a stressor be added, that sort of thing. And we've also learned about geographic information systems. We've created an interactive online map for this program specifically, and the students have played a large role in that. So in terms of curriculum connections, there's participating students in all of the 6 schools from many subjects and grades, as you can see here. And so the program really began by seeking out teachers who were interested in being involved in the program, and was just developed to be flexible to the curriculum they are teaching each year. And as a result, there's just been so many activities that have been created, and so we'll work with students from grade 8 up until grade 12. And so a number of those additional activities I mentioned previously have come from addressing the varied outcomes from the different curriculums. As an ongoing part of the program, students take monthly samples of water in their community and send it to the Saskatchewan Research Council for a water analysis that goes beyond what students are capable of doing in the classroom. So tap samples and lake or river or melted snow samples are tested for a variety of metals, heavy metals, minerals, as regulated under the Saskatchewan Municipal Drinking Water Guidelines. Students learn the safe handling of preservatives, how to take samples, fill out the required paperwork, and send the samples to SRC. Results are compiled and summaries are communicated to students during the workshops. We also will send that information to the teachers throughout the year so they can communicate with their teachers. And then so students learn how to read the charts and begin to make important connections between the elements and the health of the overall system. And I guess I should mention too that on a few occasions, tap water results have tested above the Saskatchewan or Canadian drinking water guidelines, and this was communicated to schools, but it was really just a couple of old science lab taps that people don't drink out of, and so we try our best to do that communication, but we've been pretty happy with the results that we've received over the last 4 years of doing this work. So this here, I know you can't read it, I just wanted to show you a snippet, 1 minute left. Oh, I thought it was, okay. One snippet, or sorry, a little bit of our water research that we've collected. So I just created a quick chart out of some of the stuff. So this is just aluminum and copper levels in Isle Cross. It's a very simplistic chart, but I just wanted to show you that data has been collected over the years. Those lines there are the benchmarks based on wildlife standards. Since this is from the lake, that's what we based it off of. So you can see that often the results are a little bit over what we would expect, but the students do go back and retest, and we see some of those are anomalies, that sort of thing. Again, we did that vegetation sampling. So here is just the students kind of took samples from both sides of the boat dock, the same lake. I'm not trying to pick on Isle Cross for any reason. It's just, I just thought it was interesting that there was we could use both of the same metals to discuss this afternoon. And also I want to say, like, that was in micrograms per gram, so either way, like, the results are quite low. So I mentioned that we do fish dissections. So the government of Saskatchewan has a document that provides information and advice concerning fish consumption in Saskatchewan based on the size of the fish, the water body, and how often it's eaten related to mercury levels. And so you can see here that we've, again, created this sort of citizen science portfolio with the students by getting local fish and testing it for mercury. And what we would expect has happened, where you know, the bigger the fish, the more mercury. But again, this is parts per billion, so these mercury levels are quite low, and even if you were eating these fish a few times a week, I think you'd be fine. And I mentioned this map that we created, and so I encourage you to go onto the Saskatchewan Environmental Society's website, take a look at it. The yellow dots represent where we've taken samples for the Saskatchewan Research Council, and the red dots represent plot points that the students have put together themselves based on areas that they think are important to themselves individually, as well as have a strong local connection. Let's see. So the big picture here, I'll just let you read it really quick. We created a pretty cool little Venn diagram. And then I thought just I would take 1 second to tell you about the Saskatchewan Environmental Society, which really illustrates why it's important for us to have funding for programs like this one. We're a nonprofit registered charity. We've been around since 1970 in the Saskatchewan. And we do research, education, community outreach, and we organize demonstration projects, such as the Saskatchewan, the SES Solar Co-op, which is the first renewable energy cooperative in the province. And we have a lot of areas of focus all around critical environmental issues in the province. And that's it.